It's fine. It's okay. It's very fine. Nigerian Rail Corporation is working for us.
Inú mi dùn o. Ó dùn gan.
I better we are enjoying. We're so much happy with President. Can you see everybody over here now?
The rail cover from Oyo down to Lagos here, and that is not the limitation. Some is already applying the route of Abuja to elsewhere.
You can see the level of construction works ongoing. You can see the mammoth crowd behind who have come out to cheer the delegation from the Ministry of Transportation.
They are excited. It will cost them less to come to Lagos now.
We are saving costs for those who do business and encouraging people to do business and creating employment.
29 minutes from Lagos to Abeokuta. Amazing.
Quite impressive. It's a massive project. It will have a multiplier effect when it's finished.
This used to be part of my hunting grounds. And so I came to see for what my hunting grounds were appropriated. And so far, so content.
I feel great. I'm excited.
Rail transportation in Nigeria predates back to the 19th century when Nigeria's first railroads were constructed by the British colonial government in the year 1898. October the 3rd, 1912 saw the amalgamation of the Lagos Government Railway and the Baro-Kano Railway, birthing a nationwide rail service to be known as the Government Department of Railways. With the passing of the Nigerian Railway Corporation Act of 1955, the company metamorphosed into a truly national railway company serving almost 42 million Nigerians with the exclusive legal right to construct and operate rail services in the country. Between 1955 till date, Nigeria's railway, however, experienced a stagnated growth when compared to its counterparts across Africa.
In the past, the railway was a national asset of first choice. It helped the British in amalgamating the North and the South. It provided the military movements and the administrative movements of personnel from the southern protectorates to the north and vice versa. So the railway was a vital and critical asset of national growth and expansion.
I traveled by train from Enugu all the way to Umuahia. And I'm talking of 1952. It required a journey of close to 12 hours. It was a primitive journey, but it was an interesting journey. And as the train made its way, blowing its horn, people enjoyed to hear the blast of the horn of the train.
Available data reveals that countries like South Africa and Egypt take the lead in rail infrastructure across the continent, with Nigeria ranking 6th in Africa and a distant 49th, and that according to the International Union of Railways. Dwarfing South Africa with a difference of almost 26,000 kilometers of rail network, it is clear Nigeria has a lot to do. With over 3,500 kilometers of narrow-gauge rail lines, mostly non-functional, there has been a need to modernize Nigeria's rail network like its counterparts in Europe and the US to meet its developmental aspirations. With the return to democracy in 1999, Nigeria's federal government commenced an ambitious plan to connect major cities by rail. On October 9, 2006, Nigeria's federal government set out its vision for the revitalization of the nation's 3,500-kilometer rail network. The plan was evidently displayed in the Lagos-Kano standard gauge modernization project with an initial contract awarded to the China Civil Engineering and Construction Corporation (CCECC) for about $8.3 billion to be funded with a soft loan from China. The project, however, stalled due to funding problems and was later redesigned to be executed in standalone segments with the already existing 1,124-kilometer narrow-gauge Lagos-Kano line to be rehabilitated. The nation's federal capital would also have its own rail development plan, which is expected to commence with the award of the 46 kilometers Abuja Intercity Rail Corridor at a cost of almost $1 billion in 2007. Several other arrangements were reached with the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation (CCECC) for other rail corridors, which included the 100 kilometers Minna to Abuja rail line, which would continue for another 205 kilometers beyond Nigeria's federal capital, Abuja, to Kaduna State. The Phase 2 of the project would also see the reconstruction of the Port Harcourt-Jos rail trunk line. However, with a change in government in 2007, Nigeria's ambitious rail plan was shelved by the Yar'Adua administration due to paucity of funds. The federal government had disclosed that the ambitious program was posing challenges to the new administration. Government also cited a lack of engineering design in place as one of its major reasons. It was clear that Nigerians would have to wait further to see trains traversing its major cities. It was, however, evident that the nation's rail project was back on track. However, with the interception of the Muhammadu Buhari administration, the rail dream not only continued but kicked off with increased vigor. The administration saw the completion of the 187-kilometer standard gauge line between Kaduna and Abuja, which was inaugurated on July 26, 2016. The Abuja-Kaduna rail line has 10 stations and features both passenger and cargo trains. It was set to link the economies of Kaduna and the federal capital. Plus TV Africa's correspondent Marianne Okon travelled from Kaduna to Abuja to show the current state of the Kaduna-Abuja train station.
We're here at the Rigasa train station in Kaduna State. We're about to hop on the train taking us straight to Abuja. But before then, I have some money with me, so I'm going to book a ride for myself and the crew members. So I don't know exactly how much it costs, but then as you can see behind me, there's a long line of people getting ready to hop on that same train. I hear that there's a business class and there's an economy, so come with me and let's have that train experience. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We're 4 people. We're going to Abuja. I don't know, how much is it?
We have 2,000
for.
And then we have
2,005 is for what?
Is for business class.
For business class, okay. And
the 1,3 is second class.
For economy, okay. So if I'm buying for 4 people, how much would that be?
Oh, which one?
For the business.
That is 10,000.
Okay. So what's the procedure? I mean, do you ask for ID cards? Do you ask
we need ID cards.
For
yes, ma'am.
To be able to authenticate how many people are going on the train. Interesting. So apparently it's 1,300 for economy, and if you are going on the business class, you pay 2,500 there, and they need your ID cards just like you do it on a plane, so they can be certain that you are legal in this country. Thank you. So we are on another coach. Well, apparently this is still business class, but it seems to be the most activity-filled coach because there's a lot happening here. Just where I'm standing is like a food court. So there's food, there's snacks, there's water, there's drinks. Just, I think this is the most exciting coach to be on, but it's we can go further to the economy class, but as you can see, you cannot be on this coach without having your mouth moving, and I'm about to join the train of people who are having their mouths move because I can't be left out. But in an hour, about an hour, 30 minutes, we're going to be getting to Abuja. So let's see how enjoyable this ride is, and let's find out if we will keep to time and get to Abuja in 2 hours.
The Abuja-Kaduna rail line was conceptualized to connect Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, Warri, Bauchi, Abuja and Port Harcourt. with sister African countries like Kenya, Tanzania and others investing in rail networks to boost their economies. The Buhari-led administration also followed suit with the determination to use rail transport to catalyze its mono economy and reverse a biting inflation. Countries like Kenya already began to reap from this multi-billion-dollar investment as trunk lines like the Nairobi-Mombasa standard gauge rail line, which has 14 cargo coaches, already boasted of meeting their 2025 container transportation target. Nigeria's federal government commenced the construction of the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail line. The Minister of Transportation, Amaechi, had promised the public that the federal government was committed to the project as well as serious about linking the economies of Lagos to the southwest states.
So those who want to go to work from Abuja-Kaduna to Lagos can leave in the morning, and when you close from work in the evening, you join the train at Iju to Abuja. While we are walking from Iju to Ebute-Metta and to Apapa, that way it will be easier for you to go to work up to Ebute-Metta and up to Apapa. We are also trying to build our stations. In a year's time, we'll have finished the stations and everything will be running normally.
Experts had commended this initiative, saying it was definitely a right move in the right direction.
Quite impressive. It's a massive project. It will have a multiplier effect when it's finished. It will reduce logistics and distribution costs, which is a major area of inflationary pressures in Nigeria.
While the construction work commenced, the Transport Ministry's regular site inspection saw that the contractor met scheduled timelines, including meeting up with the high standard of construction work. Plus TV Africa's Amadine Uyi was at the site of inspection.
Behind me, the work has continued in earnest. You can see that the construction work is ongoing. Speaking with the Nigerian Railway Corporation and the contractors handling the project, the China Construction and Civil Engineering Company, they say they're optimistic that by mid-May that the work will terminate at Ibadan.
It was definitely clear the current administration was committed to fulfilling its promise to Nigerians, one which had spanned almost 2 decades. The federal government also assured that jobs would also be created, which would drastically reduce the nation's unemployment gap.
We are saving costs for those who do business and encouraging people to do business and creating employment. It would have taken you 1 hour 35 to 40 minutes to go to Abuja. Right? And that your fuel costs, the wear and tear on the road, wear and tear on the vehicle, the money you pay to the driver and all that you have saved by just throwing your goods and services right on this street and moreover subsidized.
The ambitious rail master plan would also see other rail corridors spring up.
We have directed that they should go and get some more coaches from Itakpe-Warri because the passenger list in Itakpe-Warri is not as high as we expect it to happen between Lagos and Abuja. We expect 2 more coaches to make it 4. It's extremely important to us because that will then release or reduce the crisis we have by the seaport. We've told Nigerians we are negotiating, we are asking them to give us a loan from Ibadan to Kano. They are saying they're not ready to fund double track. They're ready to fund just 1 track. If we succeed, then before May, June, we should begin to construct from Ibadan to Kano. They have 12 stations to build and they've gone far. So when they complete, we can commission.
While the federal government of Nigeria has consistently maintained there were funding challenges, it continues to assure Nigerians to work with the Chinese government to ensure loans are made available for the kick-off of the Lagos-Calabar rail lines and Lagos-Kano standard gauge rail line.
Permit me to mention again that the National Assembly has played its own role by providing the legislative framework within which this edifice, these projects can thrive. And we are looking forward to seeing how it will translate to jobs. It has already started that. There are over 11,000 Nigerians employed by NRC and its affiliates. There are about 2,000 Nigerian students who are in China now, studying various kinds of engineering, waiting for the period when they are going to take over from the contractors. And then we have so many settlements coming up. To God be the glory.
We have to thank the Almighty God
first, and then the government that has made this possible. Because coming from Lagos in 29 minutes means that all your empty houses in Abeokuta will now get tenants. Because people will walk in Lagos, they will live here, get to Lagos, even earlier than those who are leaving from Ikeja to Lagos. It means also that your farm products will get to Lagos very fresh. There used to be an Idogo train in those days that took food to Oyinbo. This can be repeated now. It means that those in Lagos have to work harder because your own foodstuffs will get there before their own. It also means that more people will get employed.
Congratulations to all of us in Nigeria, because clearly what we are doing today, it's what will change Nigeria to be among the committee of developed nations, of emerging markets, emerging nations. There is no way there can be any social economic development without infrastructure being in place. Every day, look at the quantum of people, look at how many of us that this train brought, just 2 coaches, or maybe 3, brought from Lagos to this place. For us to have equal number of people here, we will need minimum, maybe 100 or even more, maybe 200 more or more of vehicles to put on the road.
From tomorrow, we start running on daily basis for return trips. And as at the time, because that's what we call a trial run, is going to be free of charge for at least 1 month, while the inspector will certify the track fleet during that time. We are expecting various locomotives. We are expecting a set of diesel multiple units. That side, diesel multiple unit is a set of trains made up of 15 coaches and 2 multi-power, of which combined multi-power of 3,000 horsepower. And we are expecting that by the end of May. We ordered them last year, and it took time so that we can acclimatize to Nigerian conditions. We have to build in the local conditions, because we don't just go off shelf and buy a locomotive. We have to consider our nature, our size, the weight of our people in designing these coaches. So we are expecting them by the end of May. By April, we'll be going to China to satisfy them and make sure that we still do the factory acceptance test.
Also, the Itakpe-Warri rail line, which linked the popular Ajaokuta Steel Company that had been abandoned for several years, was also brought on stream. The Itakpe-Warri line is an effort to link the north-central part of the country to the south-south. The line, which was initially conceptualized to ferry iron ore to the nation's Ajaokuta Steel Company and other steel rolling mills in Delta States, was redesigned by the Buhari administration. The standard gauge rail line was completed with free passenger services commencing for Nigerians in the Itakpe-Warri axis.
Decided to put this train on the track to convey passengers for 3 months free of charge. But this train will be running from tomorrow free of what? I will force it to do like 2-3 trips a day so that more persons can go to work in the morning and come back in the evening. So maybe 3 trips, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening. After 3 months, you begin to do what? Pay your money.
February 2019, the Iju-Abeokuta axis of the Lagos-Ibadan rail line was completed.
Congratulations,
Free services commenced as the federal government announced work would not stop even as Nigeria faced a general election. Residents of Abeokuta were urged to take advantage of the free services, which would go on for 90 days. At the commissioning of the rail line, President Muhammadu Buhari received accolades for meeting the dream of millions of Nigerians.
I don't know where I enjoy. We're so much happy with President. Can you see everybody over here now? People are just, people are happy, people are praying for the President, that long life and long life Nigeria.
It's okay. When we are talking about the best transportation system, Nigerian Rail Corporation is working for us.
Inú mi dùn o, ó dùn gan. ó dùn ládùn jù tó jẹ́ ká ẹ̀rí tí mò ń fò káàkiri tẹ́mi náà tẹ̀lé àìnú mi dùn gan ó dùn ó dùn is good ó good ó ládùn ó lárinrin so ó wà òkè nǹkan tá à ń fẹ́ náà ni.
You can see that the rail cover from Oyo down to Lagos here, and that is not the limitation. Some is already plying the route of Abuja to elsewhere, understand? And Amaechi that has even introduced this development happens to be a person from the south Nigeria. So I can tell you that this is a welcome development.
My house is somewhere in that direction, not far from here. And this used to be part of my hunting grounds. And so I came to see for what my hunting grounds were appropriated. And so far, so content.
They are excited. It will cost them less to come to Lagos now. When we have any party in Lagos, we will dress in Abeokuta and come to the party and go back to Abeokuta, 30 minutes ride. It means a lot to me that in my own time, this modern rail system is coming to Abeokuta, and that more of my people will get employed. Fresh food will go from Abeokuta to Lagos markets in the morning and get there on time. All the goods and services of my people will now move faster and cheaper.
The benefits of this project is enormous and cannot be overemphasized because of their carrying capacity and the environmental advantages of air quality, safety, energy savings, the critical importance of efficient transport management, and general urban amenity. Though the project is still ongoing, this administration has shown an unprecedented level of commitment in developing the rail transport in such a short time. The Buhari administration has been able to achieve much more in the railway sector in spite of many challenges.
The laying of standard gauge rail tracks between Lagos and Ibadan is now almost 80% complete. This was revealed by the inspection team from the Ministry of Transportation as they accompanied the Minister Rotimi Amaechi to appraise the extent of work done on the rail corridor. The Minister says about 123 kilometers of standard gauge rail tracks has been laid by the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation, CCECC, a feat made possible in 24 months within the 36 months contract time.
Our roads now will be left free for normal traffic, and the overloading on the system of the roads causes road failure. There's a design limit for the weight of goods that are supposed to transit on the roads, and at times we exceed some of these design limits by carrying excessive loads on the trucks, which creates road failure. And as a consequence of that, other things follow, accidents and so on and so forth. So it's a very good development.
I'm happy that it's happening in my time. It's Nigerian baby, and we should be proud of the present government because we devoted time and energy and resources to ensure that we meet the target date. Because without the necessary resources, the funding, we will not be where we are.
We want to see how far they've gone with the track construction. They are now, according to them, at kilometer 123. So what's outstanding is about 34 more kilometers. So we're almost there. We're coasting home. So in the next few weeks, they should be at Ibadan.
Last time we came there at kilometer 95, and today we are going to kilometer 123, and it's barely 3 weeks. And the final kilometer from Lagos to Ibadan is 158. So if they are at 123, and they do 3 kilometers every day. So we are hoping that in the next 9 days they'll get to Ibadan, and hopefully by 28 we should get to Ibadan.
The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, revealed that there should be no cause for alarm over the quality of work done on ground.
That's why we got an European consultant to supervise them. They're the project managers. So the quality can never be poor, no matter the speed, because we insist on quality. Don't forget that lives are involved, so we can't take speed over life. Life is more important, so we don't joke with that.
Although the former custodians of the rail system have reservations about whether we can celebrate having arrived at our desired destination,
the Nigerian Railway, they've contracted the revamping, as you know, to Indians and Chinese who are now making the rail to start, but even then, it is far, far behind what you expect the rail to provide you. If you go to Britain, go to India, go to London, go to America, Dubai, where trains run, Japan, then you see that we should really scrap and start from the beginning.
Adventurers must, whether they are politically correct or not, must be kept off railway maintenance, either as contractors, as staff, or anything. They should be kept off unless they have gone through discipline training. That is, if we must achieve efficient, effective, and viable railway system.
In the eyes of many onlookers and the nation at large, there is optimism that at least there is a move in the right direction.